It was another brutally tough day of going beyond, plus ultra, at UA High School. Two classes of promising aspiring heroes were given a class assignment of facing off against other students for the purpose of building teamwork, overcoming obstacles, and observing where their current strengths and weaknesses reside. Still, there was also a feeling in the air of the two classes fighting for bragging rights to see which class was progressing better overall. The competition of these two classes were split up into 5 matches, with Class 1A being victorious in 2 of those matches, Class 1B victorious in 1 of their own, and then 1 tie. Now was time for the 5th and final match. The hot-headed Bakugo Katsuki just led his team to victory, and after walking off the training grounds, bumped into his green-haired rival, Izuku Midoriya. "Nice going, Kakin. Your team looked awesome out there. Out of the way, you dmed nerd." I'm not even in your way." Yeah, whatever. I'm making progress, dweeb. I've gotten faster, and I'm moving at a speed you can't keep up with." "Nah, I'm still gonna surpass you and leave you in the dust." "Shut it. You're wasting my time with this ridiculous banter. You'll never surpass me, you dork." "Yeah, just watch me," Izuku rebutted. Bakugo just growled and walked off to rest and enable the other teams to get ready. Suddenly, Midoriya's childhood hero, All Might, walked up to him. He may have one heck of a temper, but he sure is a good friend. Better keep pushing each other. As that took place, Class B started to strategize for how they would handle themselves, so it was only natural that Class A began doing the same for this final match. Even though Izuku knew that this would be a challenge for him and his group, and didn't know much yet about some of his opponents, he was feeling pretty good about the teammates that he would be working with. Minoru Mineta may be a pervert, but he's extremely tactical and has a knack for coming through whenever he's cornered. His quirk will also prove to be useful in setting them up for victory if used right. Mina Ishido is also a very tenacious and strong fighter. He saw her strength up close in the sports tournament and continues to be more creative with her acid quirk. Best of all, his group was assigned Ochako Uraraka. The two of them not only worked together extremely well in the past, and her zero-gravity quirk not only will help their group with all kinds of helpful teamwork quirk combos, but they're also very close friends and are both extremely trusting in one another. He saved her life in the entrance exam without a second thought, and she in turn saved him from falling and spoke on his behalf after the exam because she was concerned about his lack of points. They later strategized a way to defeat Bakugo and Ida in their first assignment together and have improved their chemistry ever since. Several people in their class even believed them to be one another's best friend. What he could always count on was her to be upbeat and bubbly, and yet fiercely determined to win. "Deku-kun, let's do our best. I've been looking forward to this." Deku just nervously smiled at her with a mild blush. Yeah, you too, Uraraka-san. I'm glad I have each of you for teammates. Let's watch each other's backs." Assigned as their challengers, they were faced off against the trash-talking Nito Monoma, the brainwashing Hitoshi Shinso, and 3 others that they didn't yet know much about, but doubtless would find out very soon, giving their group a slight advantage early on. However, he did anticipate that Monoma would try to bait him and Class A into responding verbally to his trash-talking and then have Shinso take advantage by brainwashing them with his quirk. But they knew better though, so they kept themselves on guard. Aizawa stands at the starting lines with the 2 groups. "Everyone, take your marks. Ready. Start." Each team scrambles onto the training field and the timer begins. As a group, the Class A participants decided it would be best if Deku used himself as bait to lure his attackers out in the open, and then they'd respond in kind. However, the first person Midoriya spotted in the middle of this was Monoma. "We wouldn't dare underestimate you, you know. We know we have to keep our guard up against someone as strong and agile as you. But you know, the smartest among us know that it was Bakugo's 3 teammates that amplified his strength in the last match, so crushing them should have been their focus instead. What if that's what we were planning to do to you?" Clearly, Monoma wanted to plant seeds of doubt inside of him, but Izuku decided to keep pushing forward anyway. He began powering up his finger to flick the wind and trip up Monoma. Just before this, the rest of Izuku's team was looking to bait their opponents themselves. A sudden shriek came up in the air, and Mineta detected movement nearby from opponents after tying some sticky ball of his and rope around all kinds of nearby obstacles to detect movement. "We got a bite," he said. To the surprise of the Class 1A kids, Mineta's rope began turning into different random objects and increased in size. Worse yet, These objects started sailing towards Class 1A. Mina attempted to protect her teammates from the incoming debris, but the acid shield couldn't quite hold. That's when Uraraka decided to step in. Take cover. I got this. She then touched the objects being flung at them to make them float, so as to stop their trajectory. She succeeded, but thanks to this attack coordinated by the Class 1B students lurking in the shadows, Class 1A was now exposed to their position. Enter present mixed voice. This is Reiko Yanagi. Her quirk is called Poltergeist. She can manipulate inanimate objects, but not more than the weight of a human. Then there's Yui Kodai. Her quirk is size. She can alter the size of whatever she touches, but only on non-living things. Last but not least, here's Nairinjiki Shota. His quirk is Twin Impact. After striking an object, he can activate a second strike remotely, and it will have a lot more bang to it. Ochako regained her composure from the surprise, and then gave directions to her teammates. That was crazy. We better regroup fast, because now they know our location. Let's find Deku-kun. As they did so, Uraraka, Ashido, and Mineta scrambled towards Deku while evading additional assaults from their opponents. Just when Ochako spotted Izuku, she saw him about to flick his finger at Monoma, only to see a black cloud-like set of tentacles envelop him. Huh. What is this? Gagik. Everything was just fine a second ago. Deku-kun, what's happening to you? She and her classmates had never seen him do this before, but this black cloud was attacking everyone and everything in sight all of a sudden. Run, you guys. I don't know what's happening. I can't control it. Monoma had to use evasive maneuvers himself to avoid being seriously hurt, as did Shinso. But Ochako couldn't just do that and watch her best friend lose control of himself. Without thinking, she lunged at Deku as soon as she saw an opening to avoid the black tentacles and grab a hold of him. She held on for dear life in the tightest bear hug she could muster. Deku-kun, get a hold of yourself. I can't. That's the last thing he said before completely becoming consumed with this previously unseen ability. With one of these tentacles, he hit her in the face, and the impact knocked her down and shattered her helmet. It really smarted, but she knew she had to get back up quickly or she'd be toast. It then occurred to her to try her quirk on him. So she then lunged at him again in desperation and managed to touch his leg. However, instead of floating, Midoriya looked like he was having trouble moving. Ochako puzzled at this herself, but then realized that she uncovered a new aspect of her quirk as well. She could also put heavy gravity on people she touched. She wasn't sure how it works yet, but at least it was stalling Midoriya to an extent. Nevertheless, Izuku still was raging and could still move around. Then this thought occurred when she noticed Shinso nearby. Hey you. Brainwash him. You need to stop Deku-kun. Huh. How do I do that right now? He's not even himself. Oh well, I might as well try. Hey Midoriya. Let's fight. Raya Aghagar. Okay, that works. He thought. Shinso then activated his quirk and it seemed to do the trick. The tentacles disappeared and Midoriya looked like he was starting to pull out of it. Just like in the sports festival, Midoriya was able to break free of his ability, but it did the trick to bring him back to normal. Hey Deku-kun. Are you okay? She demanded of him as she shook him violently. Uraraka-san, get back. They're too tough. They're gone. You're fine now, right, Deku-kun? Uraraka-san, you're hurt. What did I do to you? I'm so sorry. She felt touched by his immediate concern now that he's back to normal, but the sentiment was cut short by the scheming Monoma. Surprise. This match isn't over yet. Fortunately for Deku, he managed to dodge the surprise attack, and Ochako sprang to action in his defense. You leave my teammate alone. She then busted out her repertoire of moves Gunhead taught her and wrestled him to the ground, and for good measure activated her quirk on him, stunning him with the same unexplained heavy gravity. He writhed in pain from being in this state and struggled for breath. I can't breathe. Unsure of whether he meant it or not, she grabbed Izuku by the hand to gain some distance from his reach, and then released her quirk. Monoma gasped and pulled himself up slightly off the ground, breathing hard. Ochako felt bad about that, but also felt angry that he'd be such an opportunist and try to attack Deku at a moment like this one. Was this why her newfound quirk ability worked on him? Maybe. She didn't have time to think much about it, though. The rest of Class 1B jumped in, and so did the rest of 1A. It was an all-out team versus team assault. Mineta and Ashido began flinging sticky ball and acid in myriad directions, hoping something would create an opening. while Reiko and Yui coordinated their quirks and Shota just jumped into the fray to fight with his fists. In the middle of all this, Midoriya began strategizing with Ochako on what they could do to gain the upper hand. I might still be a danger for you guys, so I better not try using my quirk again for now. Then let's retreat for now, Deku-kun. We'll think of something. No way. That might as well be the same as giving up. Shinso is up there waiting, and taking him down will be the key for our team's victory. But Deku-kun, do you really mean to tell me that you're going to fight him quirkless? Not at all, but I'll need your help, Uraraka-san. Make me weightless so that I can sneak up and get to Shinso. Then you go after Monoma and help our teammates against the other two after that. At that she nodded and floated him up to the area where Shinso was standing. As he saw Izuku float up to him while the rest of their classmates fought one another, Shinso glared at him with a grin on his face. Last time we tangled like this was the sports festival. I have a score to settle with you. Bring it. This time Deku knew better than to talk out loud. However, he had many internal thoughts run through his head. Losing track of Shinso would be enough to shift the momentum in their favor. I gotta take care of him here and now because he's too big of a threat. Shinso realized what Midoriya was thinking and knew he wouldn't be able to win a fist fight against him. Shinso realized his attempt to bait a response out of Deku failed, so he began to flee. Elsewhere, Ochako made quick work of Monoma and then tied him up to send him to the match's designated jail cell. But Monoma wasn't about to give up. The only thing he knew he could do was try to get her to talk because he copied Shino's ability, so he started grasping for things to ask her. It's been about 5 minutes since our match started, so I bet you think I can only keep using others' quirks for that long, right? Well, actually, it's 10 now. I just pretended until recently. Still no response from Uraraka. Well, aren't you a shrewd one? Before he could say anything else, she put Monoma into the cell and began running away to catch back up with Izuku and the others. I hope Deku-kun is okay. They must be trying another trick on him. Why else would Shinso run away like that? I better hurry. As for Deku, he began closing in on Shinso and was about to hit him with full cowling, but as he was about to, he stepped on some explosives previously set by Monoma through Shota's quirk. They each went off and sent him flailing to the ground. Yes, I'm disappointed in myself for falling so quick, but I hope that will give Shinso the opening he needs, boasted Monoma. Shinso then geared up to start using the same combat cloth given to him by Eraserhead and try to wrap Midoriya in it. He threw it straight at him, but Deku powered through the cloth and made a direct hit with his full cowling attack kick. The kick sent him straight to the ground, and Izuku landed on top of him to knock the wind out of him. Just as that took place, Uraraka snuck up on Reiko and hit her hard on the neck with a karate chop, thereby knocking her out and preventing her poltergeist quirk from hurling any additional objects at them. Kodai fell shortly after that as Ochako ran at her and pushed her into some sticky ball left on the pole by Mineta, essentially handcuffing her to that spot. The final knockout came as Ishido recovered from Reiko's attacks to send a massive uppercut Shota's way, freeing Mineta in the process. Shota also could no longer move and was carried by Ishido to the jail cell, while Uraraka carried Reiko and Deku carried Shinso. It looked a tad bleak for Class 1A briefly, but they turned it around pretty handily. With the fourth member of Class 1B put in the cell, Class 1A won the final match 4-0. Deku looked over at Uraraka and smiled. She held up her hand, making a V for victory, and smiled back at him. He may have come through for his teammates when they needed him to, but he felt an extra sense of gratitude to his best friend, not only for setting him up when he needed it, but once again saving him when that black WHP suddenly manifested itself and sent him out of control. Little did he know, however, that the help she gave him today would serve as a key to helping him master this ability later on. And this key was no ordinary training. It was from a deep mutual respect they each had for one another that was about to become something more: love. Now that the fifth contest between 1A and 1B was over, 1A as a class came out on top overall with 3 victories, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Things had been intense with every match, however, especially with the fifth and final match in which Izuku Midoriya briefly lost control of himself in the middle of the match. Fortunately, Ochako had enough sense and ability to help him snap out of it. As Aizawa gave them an appraisal of their performance, he remarked, "Well done, Uraraka. You've really matured." She immediately started to blush, but with a slight smile and a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you, sensei." She bowed. Midnight gave some follow-up commentary and told her Yu and Shinso really demonstrated some quick thinking and fast responses. Uraraka especially put herself on the line to help her friend Dot, and I loved it. Mina Ishido, ever the romantic tease, also started going after her about what she did. You just jumped right in without thinking, girl. And then you wrapped your arms around him tight. I bet that sure must have been fun. She giggled. This made Ochako even brighter red than before, and she started looking down at the ground. Well, that it's true I acted without thinking. I'll do a better job of keeping a cooler head next time. But if the alternative was doing nothing and regretting it, then I'd be happier jumping in because I was worried about Deku. Izuku heard this and blushed himself, though he failed to notice how embarrassed and beet red she was from what she just said. However, as the teachers finished up their assessments and the class was dismissed, this made him start thinking about how it might be a good idea to start training more closely with Ochako. Not only are they good friends, but they've always worked together really well, and he feels like she'd be a good person to help train him to better understand this black WHP power that just revealed itself as part of One for All. Perhaps his keen mind might also help her strategize ways to use this newfound ability of her gravity quirk. As students and teachers alike began to dismiss themselves from the exercise, Deku was about to go ask Uraraka about this. But Bakugo had other ideas and crossed his path. Took you long enough to get the job done, you dmed nerd. What the hell was all that CRP going on with those black shadow things? In his usual nervousness, Izuku replies, well, I don't know, Kakin. It's just something that happened. I didn't even know I had this power till now. Yeah. Just get your butt in gear and come with me to the training ground. All Might is going to be there too. But I needed to speak with Uraraka-san about something. Round face can wait. Let's go, damn it. For the past 45 minutes, both Bakugo and Izuku were sparring with All Might supervising. Ever since the black WHB started manifesting itself, they've been trying to reawaken it, but haven't been successful. Damn it, Deku. Why are you holding back? You scared or something? Wait. It's just not activating. I can't help it. Suddenly, All Might chimes in. All right, you two, that's enough. Let's take a breather. Bakugo replies, but wasn't the point of all this sparring to get him to manifest those black thingies when he felt cornered? All Might responds, yes, but it seems that it isn't working because young Midoriya perceives it as training, not a life-threatening situation. Let's just rest now and think of something else. A few minutes later, all three of them retreat to the break room to rest and talk things out. All Might and Izuku are in deep contemplative moods, while Bakugo looks bored and eager to leave, so he cuts to the chase. All Might, what do you know about this power that Deku just manifested? Did you ever use it? No, and that's what is so strange to me about it. I know that the one who held One for All before my MSTR had a black WHP quirk like that, but I never had anything take over me. I never used the quirks of the previous users of One for All either. All I can conclude is that One for All is choosing to evolve in a manner that lets the current user gain access to the abilities of its predecessors. After about 10 seconds of silence from everyone, Izuku speaks. I don't know why, but I have this hunch that I need to train with Uraraka-san to further unlock this ability. Bakugo replies, so that's why you were so eager to talk to Round Face earlier. And here I thought you were just trying to make a move on her or something. Izuku blushes heavily. Wait, what? No. I mean, she's my good friend and all, but I just wanted to see if I could further coordinate with her for battle tactics. We work well together after all. Bakugo rolls his eyes. Whatever. I'm out of here. All this weird silence and deep thinking is pissing me off. Bakugo gets up and storms out of the room. Izuku and All Might start to stand up as well. Yeah, I should get going myself, All Might. I'll let you know if anything else comes up with these visitations or if the black WHP starts to act up again. Sure thing. And keep me posted on your progression for what percentage you're getting to with One for All. I will, All Might. Thanks. Moments later, he returns downstairs to see Class 1A and 1B having some friendly interaction with one another from the matches that had just taken place. He intends to walk over to Ochako, but Todoroki walks up to him first. I've been looking for you, Midoriya. I didn't realize you had two quirks too. He says, Huh, what do you mean, Todoroki-san? I was just a little shocked that the guy who screamed at me to not hold back at the tournament was hiding this all along. Shudo says curtly, No, it's not like that. It's just a new ability manifesting that I didn't know I had before now. I was shocked too. Izuku replies frantically. I see. Sounds rough. Sorry to doubt you, but that did look pretty impressive out there. You too, Todoroki-san. Your flames are really starting to get powerful. No, I still have a long way to go, just like you, I guess. Which is why I decided to swallow my pride and ask my dad to help train me some more, and I thought it would be a good idea to bring you and Bakugo along with me. Izuku was shocked. How could he pass this up? Yet he still really needed to talk to Ochako about training too. Wow, this is really sudden. How much time would this internship take up? I was hoping to get in some training with Uraraka-san as well if she's available. I only wanted to train with my dad a couple days during the week. As valuable as his instruction would be right now, I still can't stand to be around him more than that. Oh, okay. That will work. I look forward to the opportunity. Izuku says. Sure. Well, see you around. Todoroki walks off without a second thought and proceeds to walk over to Bakugo. Midoriya thinks. Okay, now's my chance to talk to Uraraka-san. Ochako is in the middle of talking with different people and spots Izuku as he walks closer. Oh hey Deku-kun, where have you been the last hour? Midoriya replies. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I was just trying to get in some extra training with Kaken and All Might. Oh okay, well we're glad you could join us. We've just been reminiscing about the matches and encouraging each other for how we could better approach these kinds of situations next time. We'd love to hear your feedback too. That's always been one of your strengths. Izuku slightly blushes and looks down at the ground. Oh, thanks Uraraka-san. But hey, can I talk to you in private for a few minutes? Ochako slightly blushes herself. Oh, okay. She gets up from the couch and thanks everyone for the chat, and the two of them walk out the main hall to a place where they could be alone. As they walked, Midoriya continued to look flustered, and she thought she could even hear him muttering in a whisper. Hey, Deku-kun, is everything okay? She asks. He snaps out of it and says, Oh, right, sorry. Haha. He scratches his head nervously. So first I just wanted to say thanks again for helping me get over that sudden spontaneous manifestation from my quirk. I'm also sorry that I hurt you a little bit when you were trying to hold on to me. Ochako then says, Oh, don't worry about it. I only got a few scratches that Recovery Girl healed easily. Besides, I was roughed up a lot more from my match with Bakugo several months ago. I know you'd never hurt me on purpose. Izuku starts looking at the ground again. Look, I just gotta spit this out. Would you like to start training with me on weekends? Ochako was taken aback by this sudden streak of boldness and blushed heavily. Sure, Deku-kun. But what brought this on all of a sudden? Well, I want to figure out how to HR incest that black WHP power from earlier in our match. That training I was doing with Kaken earlier was to try to awaken the black WHP that was taking over me. Nothing happened with getting it to start up again, but I wonder if maybe it might manifest itself once more if we do some intense training exercises together and it awakens because I feel the need to protect someone that I care deeply about. Ochako feels like she wants to cover her face, but she knows that if she does, it might further let on that she has a crush on him. She thinks to herself, not again. I just started to put my feelings away for him. The training will help both of us, but how am I going to push these feelings down again when we're working so closely? Heaven help me. Maybe I should come up with an excuse. She then says, I really appreciate the sentiment, but why would it need to be me? I'm sure there are other members from our class that you care about too. Izuku starts sweating on his forehead but musters up the courage to say, Well, I thought about that, but I wanted to ask you specifically because maybe I can also help you improve your new ability with your gravity quirk. Besides, there was something about your presence that really helped me to calm down. Much unlike Kaken, you've always helped me to believe in myself. And there's no one else who has helped me more with that than you. Besides, I'd love to return the favor. What do you say? She thinks Deku-kun, you sure do know how to sweet-talk a girl. How could I possibly turn down something like that? Well, okay, but I only have time for it on the weekends right now. Suchan and I just signed up for an internship to work with the Dragoon hero Ryukyu. Izuku started to act excited like a fanboy. Really? That's awesome. You're going to learn so much from her. I don't mind if it's once a week. I'm going to work with Todoroki-san and Kaken under Endeavor during the week myself for a while. Ochako smiles. Wow, good for you, Deku-kun. That's going to be an awesome experience for you too. Better make the most of it. I will. Well, I guess I'll see you this weekend, Uraraka-san. He waves goodbye and walks away as Ochako is left to self-reflect. Deku-kun, what am I going to do with you? You never cease to amaze me, and you're always helping me to become stronger. I wish I didn't feel distracted by these feelings, but I just do. I just hope it doesn't get out of hand when we train. Meanwhile, Midoriya walked back to his dorm room with similar thoughts. Holy cow. I can't believe I just got through saying all that. What's gotten into me? Even though she said yes, I bet she's weirded out by me more than ever now. Well, at least it will be good training. At that, Midoriya started walking back to his dorm. He had a lot to think about with all that's coming up. So did Ochako. She felt excited to not only have an internship with Tsu, but also would be able to train alongside one of Class 1A's strongest students. How would she handle these butterflies, though? Only time would tell. The week had come and gone since Izuku asked Ochako to start training together, and the first Saturday for them to have that chance finally arrived. Although they both would have liked to sleep in for once given how demanding their respective internships were, they both had a burning longing to get stronger. Not only that, but Izuku had a strange feeling inside that he really looked forward to working with Ochako, more so than usual. After showering and making his way out the dorms, he thought, where did this come from? Why am I feeling this way? Should I be? The thought never even crossed my mind until Kakin accused me of wanting to make a move on her a few days ago. She's been nothing but nice to me, and I feel happier around her, but there's no way she'd feel the same. Besides, I need to focus on this training, and so does she. Oh well, whatever. On her way out the door, Ochako was also nervous. During the past week of her internship, she concluded that this new aspect of heavy gravity would activate instead if she felt desperate or angry, because that's what happened during the team battle and happened a few times the past week while out working. As for her training with Deku, she thankfully managed to not think much about it during the week, but now her heart was feeling stirred up again. Oh boy, here we go. You can do this. It's just training. Worry about these feelings later. She threw some UA gym clothes on, wrapped her hair in a ponytail, and started jogging downstairs to the training grounds. Izuku arrived at the training grounds first. As he waited for Ochako to arrive, he started doing some warm-up stretches. Just then, class president Tenya Ida passed by doing a speed exercise of his own. Good morning, Midoriya. Good to see you out furthering your training, though I'm not surprised. Are you waiting for someone? Good morning, Ida-san. I was just waiting for Uraraka-san because I thought it would be good for us to train together on the weekends. We learned a lot together in that match against Class 1B, so we want to see if we can keep that up. Excellent. Ida says with his patented arm chop. You know, I was thinking maybe I should change it up and train more than just my speed. I could always learn something from your attack power, and Ochako has really improved her close combat skills. Would you have any objections to me joining you this time? In Izuku's head, he felt reluctant about letting him join in because of his strange feeling of looking forward to alone time with her, but maybe this would help him concentrate more. That I don't mind. I'll wait to see how Uraraka-san feels about it first, though. Understandable. I wish not to be a nuisance, but if she approves, it will be a pleasure to train with both of you. Just then, Izuku saw her about 50 meters away, jogging near the building, but she looked a little flustered. A few seconds later, he could see why. Ochako had bumped into Mina Ashido on the way there, as she was also out for a morning jog. Suddenly, Ochako's face became extremely red from something Mina said. Uraraka doubled her running speed to get away from her, but this just made Mina grin from ear to ear and chuckle. Izuku saw Mina wave goodbye to her and shouted good luck today, and resumed her jog. Izuku wondered, what was that all about? Maybe I shouldn't bring it up. Once Ochako arrived, she had a look of confusion yet relief on her face. Oh, good morning, Ida-kun. Good morning, Deku-kun. Was there a change of plans or something? Ida responded, only if you don't mind. I just bumped into Midoriya myself, and he explained what you two were about to do. I thought it might be helpful for me to learn some things from both of your skill sets, and perhaps I could add a layer of difficulty to the exercises myself. What do you think? She thought about it for a minute and said to herself, just what the doctor ordered, as if it wasn't difficult enough to keep these feelings in check already. Mina just had to come along and make it worse by daring me to kiss him on the cheek today. What's her deal? Sure. I suppose just one more person for today wouldn't hurt. Ochako said. Terrific. Let the training begin then. Ida responds. It's fitting that Ida, Izuku, and Ochako met together for these exercises. First, they walked to the PE field to test out their basic quirk strength such as the 50-meter dash, the grip strength, the long jump, and ball throwing as a warm-up. because he was curious to see how far they had come in the meantime. After the warm-up, Izuku wanted to undergo the same anti-personnel battle training on their second day of class when All Might supervised. Originally, Izuku thought they would just do this exercise 2 times with him and Ochako reversing roles to capture/defend the weapon. But now with Ida in the mix, it could be a near-complete rematch if Bakugo was also present. As expected, each of them were able to make an improvement in each of the basic strength tests. Ida got his dash completed in 2.7 seconds this time, while both Ochako improved to 6.5 seconds and Deku made it to 4.1 seconds now that he has a more firm control of One for All. For grip strength, Ochako made it to 38 kilograms, Ida made it to 60 kilograms, and Izuku made it all the way to 75 kilograms. A near 20-point improvement. The long jump and ball throw were impossible to improve upon because she could make herself float as long as she wants any distance she desires and clocked in at infinity. But Ida made it 20 feet with his engine legs, and Izuku made it to about the same with One for All. But the ball throw was what was most notable. Ida was more average for Hero Society in this area of just 90 meters, but Midoriya added on a whole 200 meters from his last test. Both Ida and Ochako were particularly surprised by this. Wow, Deku-kun. I remember how difficult these exercises were for you when we first started. You sure have come a long way. Ochako said. Haha, thanks. Izuku says as he scratches his head. Agreed. It's not surprising though given all the real-life dangers that our class has gone through since that time. Shall we commence the anti-personnel battle? Asked Tenya. Sounds good to me, Uraraka said in her bubbly way. Surprisingly, Ida volunteered to be the one defending the weapon. He still didn't like the idea of being a villain, so this time he talked himself into believing it was a defense weapon he was protecting from dastardly evildoers that wanted to HRNSS it for their own twisted schemes. Whatever. Either way, it made little difference to him to be working alone this time, since Bakugo went off on his own the last time they faced off. Things would be different though with each having more battle experience. To raise the scales, using capture tape wouldn't cut it for this training. It was full on knock your opponent out or use real restraining items if you're skilled enough in order to win. Since Ida couldn't just leave the weapon unguarded, he was allotted 15 minutes to set traps and given access to cameras to see where they were, while the two of them were given 5 minutes to get to the weapon. Considering that heroes are supposed to do what they can to not damage property, Izuku made the resolve this time to not use the same strategy again, to bust the floors so that Ochako could get an opening and find another way to defeat him. By the time Izuku and Ochako made it to the 4th floor and had split up from there with just 2 minutes left, Ida made his move. There you are. Let's see you dodge this. Ida pushed a button on the console next to the weapon, and out came hundreds of spikes from the ceiling onto the floor in both areas where the two of them were. Ochako knew Ida knew he wouldn't be able to stop her with just that, so she levitated over the spikes cautiously to see what would happen next. However, right after this a large net made of thick ropes and barbed wires mixed and grazed her and almost pinned her to the ground. She made it to the stairway after she finished floating over, but was holding on to her arm as it bled from cuts and scrapes. Deku, on the other hand, used One for All to bounce back and forth on the walls to avoid the same traps and got to the other stairwell with ease. That's when Ida made his next move and unleashed Reciproc Turbo on Midoriya. One for All makes Izuku fast himself, but even he can't yet handle the blinding speed that Tenya is capable of with this move. While in this state, Tenya grabbed Izuku's leg and slammed him down onto the ground hard, knocking him nearly unconscious. To be sure he stayed immobile, he placed heavy cuffs on Midoriya's hands, and then threw one of those heavy nets on top of him to keep him tangled long enough that he wouldn't be able to get out of it in time before the exercise was complete. With Izuku out of commission the rest of the way and Ochako in a weakened state, Ida retreated back to the weapon and waited for her to get there, as that was her only option left. So what will be your next move, Uraraka-kun? Ida asked in a defensive stance. With 15 seconds left, she considered her options and knew it was foolhardy to just make a quick run towards the weapon as he might block the way before she got there in time. She also knew he was no pushover in hand-to-hand combat, so it would be unlikely she could take him down in such a short amount of time. As for her quirk, she thought Ida might still be able to grab her arms or legs if she tried to make him float with zero gravity, not to mention that he could just try to move the weapon again like in their previous match, So she decided to use all 10 of her fingers while feeling cornered to make the gravity restrict his movements instead. He hadn't noticed this newfound ability during the competition against Class 1B, so he didn't see it coming. She lunged forward at him and held out both of her hands at him. He grabbed them thinking that she would just make him float and would just try to hold on to her. But then he started feeling very heavy, as if he were on a planet 10 times the gravity of Earth. He hunched over not being able to move. What is this? Ida asked shocked. Surprise. Ochako yelled as she let go of his hands and jumped over to hug the weapon with 5 seconds remaining in the same fashion as the first time. No, not again. Ida yelled in frustration. If only I knew about this. I might have won this time. Sorry, Ida-kun. I guess it's payback for hiding your reciproburst move from us at the tournament. She then stuck out her tongue playfully. Tinya then hung his head in shame after she released the gravity. Once Izuku was released from the cuffs and the net, he reflected on their battle. Wow, Ida-san, you've really stepped up your game. Not only are your moves way more powerful than the last time, but you used the element of surprise really well against me. I appreciate the sentiment. But it was all for naught with Uraraka-kun then turning the tables on me with her own surprise. You sure can be a cunning tactician when you put your mind to it. Ochako smiled. Don't sweat it, Ida-kun. This one could have gone either way, but we each learned more about ourselves. The main reason we wanted to train together is because we feel we can help one another with these newfound abilities we both just discovered. Yes, you're right. I appreciate you letting me join you today. This is a lot to reflect upon, both the ups and the downs. As a token of my appreciation, let me treat the two of you to your own dinner this evening. Uraraka and Deku just looked at each other and blushed. Izuku stuttered, "Didi dinner? Like as the two of us going out together?" Uraraka also chimed in, No, Ida-kun. You don't have to do that. Especially when it's just the two of us. No, I insist. Returning a favor in this manner is something I like to do for all my friends when they do something nice for me. Besides, three's a crowd on Saturday nights. It's best if it was just you two. He handed them two 2,000 yen bills for the evening and walked away before they could refuse. In the awkwardness of the moment, Midoriya and Uraraka were left to themselves, not sure what to say next to one another. He stuttered greatly, but after about a minute, Izuku built up the courage to say something first. Uraraka-san, if you'd rather just go get something to eat on your own, I don't mind. It's okay, Deku-kun. We've gotten something to eat together before with others around. Even if this is awkward for both of us, I don't mind it at all, she said smiling. Okay, sure. So what sounds good to you tonight? I could go for a teriyaki bowl myself, said Izuku. Ochako said in response, That sounds wonderful. I know of a really good place that serves great teriyaki bowls and has amazing mochi desserts to go with it. All right then, how about we head back to the dorms for a bit and get ready? See you in about an hour? Sure, Deku-kun. See you soon. As the two of them walked back to their rooms, Midoriya thought to himself, My gosh, I can't believe this is really happening. Did I just ask a girl out on a date? Am I really ready for this? I sure hope so. But man.it actually makes me feel pretty happy that she didn't mind. Could it be maybe she also feels the same way? I guess I'll find out. Ochako started blushing as she walked back to her room and internalized all this. Man, is this some weird message the universe is sending me that I should stop trying to hide my feelings? One thing after another keeps happening that forces me to confront this. Oh well, at least Deku-kun is bashful too. And that's just another reason he's so likable. Meanwhile, about 40 meters away, Mina and Ida saw the whole exchange. Mission accomplished. Thanks so much for helping me out with those two today, Ida, said Mina. You're welcome. I may be a rigid-by-the-book type, but even I can appreciate seeing friends grow closer to one another, responded Ida. You're just a big softie after all. Shoo, don't tell anyone. It'll ruin the image I want as class president. Oh, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Well, see you in class in a couple days. At that they also went their separate ways. Izuku and Ochako's date would be starting very soon, and it would be a night that neither of them will forget. Nearly an hour had passed since the two of them returned to their dorm rooms. The feeling for both of them was still on the awkward side in knowing they were both about to go out to eat together alone. However, at the same time, they both felt more accepting that it was really happening. Neither of them knew much about proper dating, and yet even both of them knew that they should dress themselves up at least a little bit. Ochako may not have the same wardrobe budget as Yaoyorozu or a quirk that could make a new outfit whenever she wanted, but she figured she could get away with wearing her nicest yellow blouse that she likes to use for shopping when she's in town, accompanied with a pair of black skinny jeans. She then proceeded to put on just a little more makeup than usual. She usually likes to go for a more natural look, but something in her just wanted to look as nice as possible. As for Izuku, he didn't have any nice shirts for a date, but since it was going to be a nice, crispy, cool airflow outside, he figured he could get away with just wearing a coat the whole way, throw on some nice briefs, and call it good. As he began walking downstairs, several of the other guys were in the lobby hanging out, either watching television or sitting at the couch chatting. Kirishima was the first to notice him about to head out the door. It's not like Izuku to look that nice for a Saturday night, so he couldn't help but inquire what the occasion was. "Hey bro, you sure are looking spiffy tonight. Where you off to?" Midoriya panicked because he was too embarrassed to say what he was going out for. Well you see, I just wanted to." Mineta interjects. He's about to sneak out to a strip club. Why would anybody dress up that nice other than for that? What? I'm not like that, Mineta. Suddenly, Ojiro whacks Mineta with his tail, knocking him down to the ground face first. "Seriously, you really need to cut it out with the pervert act," he said, and walked back over to the television. Izuku figured they were going to find out sooner or later, so he figured he might as well say, even though it's embarrassing to him. "Look, the truth is, Uraraka-san and I have been training a lot together recently, and we figured we might as well go out to get something to eat together." "Alright, so manly bro. I had a feeling you two were starting to get close," said Kirishima. "Huh, is it really that obvious to everyone?" "Well yeah, you two have spent a lot of time together ever since our classes formed, and you both blush a lot around each other," responded Kirishima. Kaminari chimes in too. "I'm probably one of the dumbest guys in the class, and even I can tell, dude." Midoriya starts to look red in the face again at realizing everyone has noticed the interactions they've had with each other except the two of them. Wow, I must be even more clueless about girls and dating life than I thought. I guess this is the part where everyone starts teasing me, right? Each of the other guys look surprised at that last part. "Common bro, why would we do that? We think it's awesome you and Ochako are spending the evening together," said Kirishima reassuringly. Aoyama suddenly adds 2 cents of his own. "I could tell since the practical exam when I worked with her that she has a thing for you," he says, winking. "Now I see the same look in your eyes too, Mon Ami." Deku is shocked. Aoyama isn't the type to just randomly say stuff like that unless it's the truth. "Oh man, if that's true, I don't even know how I'm going to get through the night without messing it up. This whole thing is so new to me." Todoroki suddenly walks in, having heard the conversation. "It's just a date. What is there to worry about? I've been on a couple dates with Yaoyorozu the past couple months, and we both enjoyed it. You can too. I'm about to have another tonight myself." "Whoa, you two are a couple. I can't believe it." Shoto replies, "Enough about me. Just stop worrying and have a fun time." "Oh, okay. Well, see you guys later. And thanks," he says, running out the door. Right as that was happening, Ochako had her own similar encounter with the Class 1A girls. Since Ochako doesn't dress up super fancy very often, the girls suddenly took notice at her nice attire and couldn't help but wonder what the occasion was. It also didn't help with Mina spreading rumors around about her crush either. Tsuyu was the first to notice her about to leave. "Wow, Ochako-chan. You sure look nice." Karo. "Oh, thanks, Tsu-chan." The invisible Toru Hagakure suddenly asks, "Ochako-chan, is it true? Are you about to go on a date with Midoriya-chan?" Uraraka becomes flustered. "Who told you I was going on a date with Deku-kun? Isn't it obvious? We can all tell you've had a crush on someone since we first moved into the dorms. And who else could it be given how much time you and Midoriya-chan spend together? Besides, your reaction says it all," said Tsu in her blunt honesty. "I guess you got me there." "Tsu-chan, don't worry, Ochako-chan." Karo. "Midoriya-chan is a great guy, and he's always treated you well. You've really helped each other grow in your hero training, and I bet you'll have a lot of fun tonight." Momo Yaoyorozu walks downstairs suddenly herself in a casual nice outfit, implying she's about to go out herself. "Momo-chan, are you off on a date again too?" asked Toru. "Why yes. Todoroki-san asked me out a few months ago, and we've surprisingly had a lot of fun on our dates. He may seem quiet, but we have a lot in common, and I've enjoyed spending time with him." Love is in the air," Mina interjected. Although she too thought it was cute, Uraraka couldn't take much more of this, so she was quick to start stepping out the door. Well, I guess I better get going. See you later tonight. Have fun, you too. Mina and Toru said in unison. About a minute after walking out the door, she spotted Midoriya and felt the butterflies come back in her tummy, but took comfort in the fact that he also was dealing with the same problem given the look on his face. Hi Deku-kun. Why you look nice tonight? Why you too, Uraraka-san? Shall we head over to that teriyaki bowl place you told me about? He said nervously. Sure. They walked silently for approximately 5 minutes, and the longer the silence went on, the more nervous Midoriya became because he didn't want to seem boring or disinterested. Since he didn't know what else to talk about comfortably, however, he brought up their training today. I just gotta say, that move you made to surprise Ida-san at the end with your heavy gravity was brilliant. You're going to be one amazing hero one day if you keep this up. That's really sweet of you to say, Deku-kun. However, I need to get a better grip on this new power. It seems like it only works still when I'm in a desperate situation. What would you do if you were in my shoes? You have a similar problem with that black WHP thing, right? Yes, but so far it has only come out spontaneously. I guess we will have to focus more on training to draw it out naturally somehow. Ochako then had a concerned look on her face. All right, but just promise me that you won't resort to anything reckless. You tend to put yourself in danger too much when it isn't always necessary, and I don't want to see you get hurt. I agreed to train with you on the weekend in part because you said you deeply cared about me, and I feel the same way about you as your friend. She says this time with no blushing. Deku became slightly misty-eyed from what she said. I promise. It went quiet between them again until they saw their destination. As they walked into the restaurant, Ochako pulled out a few coupons for both the teriyaki bowls and the mochi. She became a frequent customer to this establishment when she could afford it, so it's only natural for a thrifty girl on a budget like her to have them on hand. Izuku snickered a little at the notion. What's so funny? She asked with a furrowed brow. For the first time ever, Deku felt a tad scared around her. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to come across like that. I actually think it's kinda cute that you use coupons so much. I just couldn't help myself. He said, embarrassed. She just rolled her eyes, but let it slide. Then he spoke again to change the subject. What kind of bowl do you think you'll get this time? I've gone for beef a lot lately, but this time I think I'll give the pork cutlet a shot. Really? That's my favorite kind. I can't wait to try the one they make here. Replied Izuku. Awesome. Is there any type of mochi you like best, Deku-kun? There's no way I won't order any. Nothing specific, but I am in the mood for some strawberry mochi ice cream for dessert, if they have any. Sounds good. I could go for that too, said Ochako. They then placed their order at the counter and pay. Once it arrived, they both finally felt a little more settled in and less nervous about the date. So they each began to shoot the breeze more about themselves through Q&A while eating. So tell me, Uraraka-san, you said you want to be a hero to help your parents out more. Is there any other reason? Well, even though I have little memory of the heroes I saw for the first time as a little girl, I remember observing that so many people seem to have smiles on their faces because they helped resolve a major incident that put each of us in danger. I've always loved to be around other people who are happy, so I figure that hero work done right can help with that. That reason suits you well. I don't think I've ever met someone who is able to put a smile on others' faces like you. When Izuku realized what he just said, they both blushed again, but Ochako was severely redder in the face from the comment. In fact, it made her panic to the point of needing to get up for a minute. Thanks. Hey, I need to go to the ladies' room for a minute. Be right back, she said as she rushed away. Deku was beside himself in thought. Holy cow, either I just scared her off big time, or I'm getting to be way too smooth of a talker for my own good. And just when it felt like things were starting to feel less awkward too. Minutes later, Uraraka was still in the ladies' room fanning her face and trying to get back to normal. Come on, get it together. You can't get this flustered at everything. It's not like he made a love declaration or anything. She then took a deep breath and resolved in herself that she wouldn't let this fluster her anymore. If she can stay cool when they're under attack from villains, then she can stay cool when her crush says something nice too. Just as she was about to walk back up to Midoriya and apologize to him for running off, she noticed Todoroki and Yaoyorozu suddenly walk in. This really helped ease the moment for Ochako because Izuku also just noticed them and waved. When Shoto and Momo noticed, they walked over to them to say hi. Wow, I didn't think we'd bump into you guys tonight. let alone so soon after leaving the dorms, said Momo. Good to see you guys, though. I take it you're in the mood to get something to eat like we are? Asked Deku. I just wanted some soba. I heard they make some here, said Todoroki. And I like to go to down-to-earth normal restaurants like this. My family never ate out when I was a kid, and I was always used to eating meals prepared by prominent chefs. It's still great food, but I actually like places like this better, Yaoyorozu remarked. I sure wish I could eat from a prominent chef. Ochako lamented. Would you two like to come over sometime? That might be fun for all four of us one weekend. Both Izuku and Ochako suddenly became starry-eyed and excited. Yes, please, they said in unison. Midoriya then changed the subject. Hey, since you two just showed up, would you be interested in eating with us? We just received our food ourselves, so we wouldn't mind waiting a few extra minutes until you get yours too. Sure, double dates can be fun too. Let's do karaoke after that too. My treat, said Momo excitedly. That would be awesome. I'd especially love to see Deku-kun and Todoroki-kun at the mic, added Ochako. Izuku looked embarrassed at the thought because of how terrible a singer he is, and Todoroki had the same indifferent look on his face, and that made both the girls laugh. The fun and lively atmosphere was cut short in an instant, however. As they were sitting down together, they heard glass shatter and startled all the normal civilians nearby. Immediately after this, Todoroki spotted what went through the window. Grenade! Everybody get down! He shouted. Shoto immediately covered Yaoyorozu, and Deku did the same to Uraraka. It only ended up being a flash grenade, but every civilian was blinded by the light, causing them each to hold their eyes in pain. Just then, a dark lurching figure jumped through the broken window. He was wearing a dark combat suit with large metallic boots, taped up arms, and a long sword at his back accompanied with several knife holsters at his waist. Didn't think I'd run into you guys again so suddenly after getting out of prison. Long time no see. Deku was shocked at seeing him again, but there was no denying it was the same guy he and Todoroki once fought to protect Ida. Stain, what are you doing here? He yelled. Oh, you know, the usual. Just out to clean up this messed up world of heroes and start over with a new and more just society. And to start, I'm going to make a statement to Endeavor by taking his son from him. So, this was the end of part 1 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.